subscribe already. Hit the fucking like button and subscribe before I knock your ass out, man. I ain't fucking with you, man.
We are back. UFC Fight Night 29. Zombie versus Ige back at the Apex after a wild card last weekend. We were spoiled with a bunch of good fights. Now back down to reality. A couple good fights on this card, not a ton. I'll be going over the main card with you guys like usual, giving out some breakdowns and free plays. Not a ton from a betting standpoint, but I'll get into that and, advise you guys where to lay off and maybe where to look at. Bunch of winners given out last week on the video, and a nice weekend for myself and subscribers, hitting another best bet. 2-fight parlay in this case at plus money, of course, with Bilal and Israel. Easy winner there. Wasn't stressing it at all. We had a couple nice winners as well with Lauren Murphy at plus money and by decision. And then, of course, Bilal by decision as well. Let's start with Israel, right? Dominant on the feet and was able to avoid the takedowns to win all 5 rounds. Great takedown defense, and that's what I expected. A lot of people thought, Jan took him down easily. Marvin's going to take him down easily. No, it's a different weight class, okay? Marvin, sure, he's big, he can wrestle, but that's not his forte. He's not a great wrestler. Marvin is just good at everything. He's not great at everything, and that's why he'll never be able to beat in Israel. Because Israel's really good at striking, and Marvin's just good at striking. So that's where you see the difference, right? Israel is able to get a lot of 1-2s in there, able to work the leg, and he's able to do the takedown defense. So it was a fairly easy win for Israel. I didn't see too much issues. Marvin got him down once, I think. He tried that choke. Israel got out of that quickly. He showed some ground game, which was impressive. So yeah, I don't see Marvin ever getting this shot again, as long as Israel's the holder of the belt. Israel's back home at 185 where he dominates, and I love to see him against Whitaker. Whitaker and Israel, that would be great. Part 2 coming soon, hopefully in October or November. Happy for Moreno, guys. Happy for the guy. It was emotional seeing that. First Mexican-born champ. He looked really good in there. You can tell his training was extra for that. He even mentioned, I trained so much for this, 16 weeks, etc., etc. And Fig just didn't look great. He looked lost. He didn't want to pull the trigger. Obviously, the weight cut was an issue, and that's what I mentioned to you guys. Watch the weight cut for Fig fights before you bet them, right? If you see him struggling in the weight cut, don't bet the guy. I thought I did lean him. I personally didn't have a bet on it. My subscribers didn't have a bet on it, but I always give out my opinion. My opinion was value with Moreno, so I get it if you're going to bet it, but I lean Fig. Wasn't a bet of mine. I thought that he would show up, but this is obviously before the weight cuts, right? So watching a weight cut like that, it's hard to be on him, especially with Moreno hype, right? So anyone that cashed Moreno tickets, definitely the right side. I'd love to see what next for the guy. It could be a trilogy. It could, but I think Ashkarov maybe deserves it. He's been looking good as of late. What can I say about Diaz, guys? Love watching the guy fight. He almost finished the fight in the fifth round. That was wild. Obviously, Edwards dominated for 5 rounds, and because of that last round, they're going to take it away from Edwards, right? Usman was saying, that doesn't warrant a title shot. I agree. I wasn't impressed by Edwards, but I thought it was going to go like that because Diaz is so durable, right? He just picked him apart. I thought a cut maybe could stop it. It almost did, but it didn't. And, Edwards, I think one more fight because Colby's going to get the fight. Unless Edwards waits. He's going to have to wait until, let's say Usman and Colby gets done when? August at the earliest, maybe September, right? So what is he going to wait? No, I think he should either give it to Bilal again, right? And just beat Bilal so Bilal shuts up. Or fight maybe if he can get the Masvidal fight. That'd be huge. That'd be good for his payday. And obviously for Masvidal, a lot of eyes would be on that. So that's something I think Edwards should take if he can't get the Usman fight. And then Bilal, he did what he needed to do to win the fight, guys. I see a lot of people saying, he didn't do anything in the fight. He did what he needed to do. Best one-leg takedown defense I've ever seen. And that balance from him was unbelievable. So, he did what he needed to do. The easy decision win, which I did expect. Weekly update, guys. weekly update. Let's get right into it here. I'll quickly go over it. 49 and 26 best bet, 65%. One away from 50. I don't think I'm going to have a best bet for this. Nothing has caught my eye as of yet, but I want to get to that 50 before end of June. I definitely will, since it's going to, two more weeks until the end of June. So that 50 is coming soon. Trying to get back up to that 70%, guys. Very tough to get to the 70%, but I have been there before, right? We went all the way to 71%. So looking to get back up there. When you're long term like this and at 65%, very good, highest in the market currently. NHL continues to be profitable as well, guys. Same region, same winning percentage, 61 and 33. Long term run, 65%. That's not best bets, that's all plays, guys. 65% NHL season overall. Just been an awesome NHL season. One of the highest in the market as well. PGA, guys. PGA US Open is this weekend. Big betting card sent to subscribers. No luck last week on the course. Lost some units there, but that's golf betting. Updated numbers shown here. Profitable at every major over the past year, so I'm expecting a big one this weekend. Euro Cup, guys. Euro Cup. I'm heavily invested into the Euro Cup. Hopefully you guys watched my Euro Cup video. A ton of futures I gave out there, and they are looking good at so far. It's still early, of course, but a great start to the tournament. 4-1 for myself and subscribers at plus 3.2 units. Remember, guys, I'm a 1 unit player, 0.5, best bet sometimes 1.5. I'm a lower unit guy, right? So plus 3.2 units on 4-1 is a great start. NBA is still profitable, but it's been low volume. Nothing's really catching my eye. Spreads in the playoffs are tough, so I have a bunch of other sports that I focus on and I profit and I'm doing really well in. So when you're not really feeling it much in one sport, that's when you're able to adapt to, I have 5 other sports that I bet on. If you're a one-trick pony, you only can bet one sport and you're having a bad season, tough luck for you. Start learning other sports, bud. Here is a message from my friend Meredith.
Guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
All right, guys. Also, guys, check out Systemcapping.com if you want to get on the subscriber email list. Very low price. Sample size, I suggest, try a month. 3 months, there's year packages. I also have short packages if you want to just try it out for 3 days or a week. Hard to get a large sample size of that, but that's an option as well, just to see how smooth it goes and see how my system plays out. But they're emails, so you just get an email from me when I have a play. It's very easy to follow. Let's get right into the main card, guys. Let's get right into the main card. Remember, shop around for the best prices. Isn't the best prices, just a standard market price. Main event. Main event, Korean Zombie, minus 105, minus 110, versus Ige, minus 115, minus 110, depending where you're shopping. Zombie is back, guys, after a tough loss to Ortega 2.0, who went to the dungeon and found himself and looked unbelievable in that fight. He's getting the title shot, not Zombie. That could have been Zombie, and we wouldn't be even talking about this fight. He was close to that title shot, yet so far. Ortega dominated him in that fight, which I wasn't expecting a domination. I thought he could win that fight, right? The Zombie price was like minus 200, minus 220. That was ridiculous. I stayed off it. I can't remember if I had a play on Ortega or not. I think I may have had a small unit play on him, but definitely wasn't on the Zombie price at that price, right? Ige's coming off that big KO versus Tucker, who got caught early in that fight. Didn't expect that to happen. I expect Ige to win the fight, but I didn't expect him to get caught early. I was on the over in that, over 2.5 rounds, and Ige. We got there with Ige. We didn't get obviously with the 2.5 rounds. I thought that was going to be a great striking battle that didn't end quickly. Now Tucker was outside the top 10. He was more of a guy talked about that he could be good and he could be maybe a title contender one day. Now it's a little bit step back for him, right? And you can't really compare him to like a Zombie level. It's a huge difference here. So I don't know how much you really look at that. If you look at Ige's opponents, compared to Zombie, we're not going to compare. It's not even close, right? This will be Ige's biggest test in the UFC to date. Zombie has been in there with some of the best guys. Ortega, Poirier, Aldo, Yair, Edgar. You know, some of those are losses, of course, but he has the experience with those guys. And yes, he does struggle in most cases when he's stepping up in competition. One thing to also keep in mind, how will he bounce back after taking a beating like that? You know, him and his coach did mention his training camp was in Korea, which was a mistake. And now this one is back in the U.S. So Zombie does have, I guess, an advantage in the U.S. I can think it's more training in Korea. Maybe it's limited. I'm not too sure, but either way, you know, Zombie, if you look at his record, he does have 6 losses on his record. He is only 2-2 in his last 4 fights. He's a little older now. You know, the thing I'm worried about backing Zombie in this fight is Ige's never been finished, and that's how Zombie wins. You know, Zombie doesn't win long decisions because he picks you apart. He comes forward and he strikes and tries to finish you, right? Ige never been KO'd or submitted. All 3 losses have been by decision, right? Zombie he's just not a decision fighter. This is a difficult fight to call, in my opinion. One guy coming off a huge KO versus, you know, not really a ranked guy in Tucker, and then one guy coming off the worst loss of his career. How will Zombie be able to bounce back? That's the question here. Can Ige get a big win over when he steps up in competition? This isn't a fight I personally bet as of yet. This isn't personally a fight that I think I'm going to be betting unless something changes in the next 2 days. If I do bet this fight, it's not going to be a best bet. It'll probably be a smaller play, and it's going to be maybe a lean to Ige. It's just I'm a little worried about the step up in competition for Ige. And, you know, Zombie could just come back Zombie 2.0 like Ortega did. So it's not a fight I'll be betting, guys. The thing that I probably feel the strongest about is maybe the fight not to go to the decision. We've seen Ige kind of tail off when it went 4 or 5 rounds against the Cater fight. And that's what I would look at here. I would look at this fight not to go to the decision. And you can get a good price, a very good price. I think it's around even money. So that's something I may be on for subscribers, but probably will be a smaller play. Just excited to see how Zombie bounces back, see if Ige can step up in competition. It's a fight I'm interested to watch, but not in love from a betting standpoint. Co-main event, guys. Co-main event. Spivak, yes, minus 230 versus Olynyk plus 190. This is a random co-main event, but hey, it is the UFC fight night. Classic vet versus youngster with 5 UFC fights, right? Back-to-back wins for Spivak versus Vera, and a tough Carlos Felipe, who we were on last week. I had a Felipe last week in a small play. Olynyk only has one path to victory, right? And we all know, submission and get him to the ground. At this age, can he handle the punches anymore? We've seen no. He hasn't been able to handle the punches. Spivak has a nice jab. I think he'll be able to work that. I think he'll be able to avoid the takedowns. He's never been he's never been submitted, Spivak. That's something to look at here. But he's never fought the guy with the most submission wins in history in the UFC. You know, can Alexi get this to the ground is the question here. And at his age, I say no. You know, Olynyk has lost his last 2 fights against tough guys in Lewis and Dawkins. You know, I would say this is a bit of a step down for him. So that's some positive for Olynyk. And why I don't love a minus 230 on Spivak, because he doesn't show me enough in the UFC that he can beat a vet like this. But looking at this fight, if you're going to bet it, don't lay minus 230. Take Spivak by finish. Olynyk, if he doesn't get out of the first round, he's going to lose this fight because he's going to gas out. He's going to go all forward with it, try to get him to the ground and try to throw a haymaker and try to kick Spivak, right? Olynyk's not standing up and picking you apart. So Spivak probably wins this fight maybe in the second round, maybe late in the first round. If it goes to that, it's not a fight I see going the distance. So it's something you can look at as well, but you're going to pay for that. Fight not to go to distance, you're really going to pay. So, you know, Spivak in a 2-fight parlay, sure. But you may want to look at the KO prop here. Finish, TKO, sub. This is not going to go all 3 rounds, in my opinion, guys. Next fight here, which I think should be the co-main. Chito, Vieira's back minus 210 versus Grant plus 175. The fight, I think, should be the co-main event. These guys fought a couple years ago, guys. Grant actually got the win, but both guys are different. I'm not going to really look at that fight too much, so I didn't even really watch it back, to be honest. Grant has been looking good as of late. 3 wins in a row and a win over Jonathan Martinez the last time out, which was a big upset. A lot of people liked Martinez. I really got into Martinez. I had a play on him, but it was in a 2-fight parlay. I didn't bet him straight up at minus 250 or whatever crazy number it was. Vieira's coming off that Aldo loss and then has 2 losses in his last 3 fights. Obviously stepped up the competition, but keep in mind the only win he has is versus O'Malley. We know what happened in that fight. If that didn't happen, the 1 in a million to O'Malley and his leg, I thought O'Malley would win that fight, to be honest. So technically, he really hasn't had a decisive win for a while now. Vieira has fought better guys in the UFC, of course, over Grant. I really think Grant's main impressive win is his last fight out, and he caught him with a haymaker. So he does have a good chance to win this fight. And the only reason why I would say that, obviously, is because the number, right? The plus 175 is juicy. This was different before. It was like all the way to plus 220. But we missed that now. So, plus 175, is it enough to take a chance with him? Sure. Am I betting it? Probably not. I do think Vieira gets it done by decision. I'll probably look at the decision prop here. I do think it's time for Vieira. He's almost in a must-win mode here, guys. So I think he can win this fight by decision. That's what I would look. Vieira by decision. I'm not willing to lay minus 210 on Vieira in a straight bet. No way. If you guys know, I don't lay high numbers like that. The most I've ever laid, I think I may have, the most I usually ever lay, the minus 130, 140 lines. Yes, I've laid higher before if I really liked it. I think minus 170 before. But it's not something to do long term, guys. It's not something to bet those high numbers all the time. Once in a while, sure. But anything minus 200, I'll never lay straight up in most cases. Next fight here, Rosa plus 120. There's definitely some value there. Versus Choi, minus 140. Not much to say here. Rosa's come back strong is what I can mention after 3 in a row. He lost 3 in a row, and now he's won 3 in a row. I think he did some upgrades there in the gym. He beat a couple tough guys, Landwehr and Woodson. And I'm pretty sure he was underdog in both. So plus 120 is definitely some good value as an underdog here. Choi has shown me not enough to be warranted at minus 140, right? That's why if I was going to bet this, it would be a Rosa or nothing. Choi, 12 fights in his MMA career, 30 for a Rosa. For me, it's dog or pass. I think a Rosa could bring pressure. I think he could maybe catch him. Troy's only been knocked out once, I think, in his career. It was a few years back. He does have a decent chin. But I think a Rosa gets this done. I think this is more of a 50-50 fight. So when I see a 50-50 fight and I see a plus beside someone's name, I'm going to look at that a little harder. So if you ask me who I'm going to play, if I had to play this fight, it would be a Rosa just because of the line, just because of the number. So this is a number play. And it would be a Rosa plus 120. Have I bet it yet? No. Will it make my card? Possibly. Thurman plus 120 versus Silva minus 140. So this is another Bruno Silva. Don't mind the artwork here. This is not that Bruno Silva in the lighter division. Not much of opinion on this one. Silva's making his UFC debut. Silva was the M1 champ. He's fought a lot in Russia, beating some Russian guys there, knocking them out. But he's one of those guys, he'll go after for the KO early, but he'll gas out. So if Thurman could avoid that KO, which he didn't last time, because he got knocked out by Andrew Sanchez, and it's Andrew Sanchez. So this Silva guy has more power than Sanchez. So that's something to keep in mind here. It's Thurman really, does he have a chin? Does he have a suspect chin? It could be a possibility. So if Silva does catch him early in the first round, this fight could end. If not, I think Silva gasses out and Thurman could maybe pull it off. Look for a finish in this one, maybe the under 2.5, fight not to go the distance. But this is not a fight I'm going to be betting, guys. A guy making his debut, Thurman, who I don't think is a good fighter. Who knows? Who knows how this fight's going to go? I just think it's not going to go 3 rounds. That's my best opinion on this fight. Last one here, guys. It is Matt Brown. Yes, Matt Brown is still fighting. Plus 145 versus Lima, minus 170. Matt Brown's 40 years old. Back-to-back losses versus good fighters, though, and Baez, who's a young stud who I don't think he should have fought. And then Condit, who's a vet. And he did enough. I thought that would have been a perfect fight to end his career on. Condit, 2 vets. But he didn't win, so he wants to get back in there. He probably wants to get a check, too. Brown has only 2 wins in his last 7 fights. And most of those are losses by finish. He's been getting finished. Lima isn't anything special, not known for his finishes. Brown has a chance to win this fight, but it has to be early. He has to catch him early, guys. Lima could just pick you apart for 3 rounds, maybe some leg kicks. Decent striker, but I just don't see how I could bet this fight. Like it's not a fight to bet, guys. It's not a smart fight to put your money on. Who would lay minus 170 with Lima? Diego Lima. He hasn't shown me anything. He hasn't shown me anything to be warranted this. Sure, it's Matt Brown. I mentioned 2 fights in his last 7. He's 40. I get it. See, I lean Lima, but it's not a fight I'm going to be betting. And it's not a fight I see going all 3 rounds just because I think Matt Brown's going to go for it in the first round. And he's going to gas out. So if he doesn't catch him in the first round, I think Lima wins the fight by decision maybe. Or late, or he ends it late. But, you don't see too much Lima finishes. Right, he's going to work that kick. One of the better leg kick. He has great leg kicks, Lima. That's what he's known for. So he could maybe hit Brown with some early leg kicks and kind of put him down. Maybe a TKO type finish. But yeah, this is not a fight I'm going to be betting, guys. I lean Lima, but it's not something I suggest you guys get involved in. All right, guys, that will do it for this card. Like I mentioned, not the best card from a betting standpoint. I will have a couple other plays for my subscribers in the prelims, but that's the breakdown for this week and free picks. Any fight card I enjoy, however, I love any fight card, and I enjoy finding spots, picking spots for you guys. I just suggest not to bet. Don't bet a fight to just bet it. Don't just bet a fight to just have some action on it. That's where you get in trouble, especially with some of these lines that I really don't see anything unless you're betting the dog for some value. So that will do it for this week, guys. Check out my website, subscribe to the channel, do all that fun stuff. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Systemcapping. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limit.